being holier than thou is what many people might consider to be a classic trait of certainly many older Christians. Why is this the case? Well, because it's often true. Many Christians believe that because they are saved and have the chance to go to heaven at the end of the days, they can look down on people. I'm going to say they're not true Christians. For that, I have to say what makes a true Christian, and that's a longer video than I'm willing to do, and it's only more than I've got data for at the moment. So I'm just going to say this. Christ didn't come down to be haughty over us. He was guaranteed heaven. He'd been there. He knew what it was like, so he knew what he was going back to. We have no idea. But did he look down on us? No. Instead, he uplifted us. He made sure that we were the sort of people who would go to heaven. Strangely enough, he actually gave, in the parable of the sheep and the goats, the reasons why reasons what we should do in order to get to heaven. What our roles are, and that is care for those who are weak. I can't remember all the parable, but certainly the looking down on people, the refusing to help, the turning backs on people, that is very much what people might assume holier than thou people would do. Or at the very least, make a big spectacle of it. If you are indeed holier than me, surely only God can prove that. Ultimately, I never pretend that I'm guaranteed heaven, because I'm not. I'm Christian, I do my works. I go to church, I've just been to church in fact. Does that mean I'm guaranteed heaven? Absolutely not. There are many people that will say that if you're one thing, if you're another thing, you're guaranteed hell. But that's just not the case. Because the opposite has to be also true for that to be the case, and that is never the case. The examples are, if you're a Christian, if you're an atheist, you'll go to hell. If you're a homosexual, you'll go to hell. If you're an adulterer, you'll go to hell. Not necessarily, because there is a far finer, a far more delicate balance than can be allowed for, than just has to be allowed for, instead of just the standard you're this, you're that. No, it doesn't work like that. Because being heterosexual, being a Christian, being anything like that never guarantees us heaven. Being an actual descendant of Israel doesn't make a difference. It's what we do in life, rather than what we are, that God distills our virtue from, and therefore decides whether we should be in heaven. It's never our choice. I don't tell people to go to church. I don't tell people to pray. I don't tell people how to live their lives. I just give them advice. If they take that advice, that's good. And whilst I hope to get into youth work and hence get a bit more involved in young people's lives, there's no guarantee that they'll take any of it. It's a good time to talk about something because many people think that Christians should walk in the light and only in the light. The thing is though, I think Christians should walk between the light and the dark. Walk between the candle and the shadow. Because we all cast a shadow. We just need to be aware of those who are in our shadow. To help them, not look down on them. To love them, not revile them. And at the end of the day, remember that we're all human. And when we get right down to it, we all make mistakes. We may have our own stories of faith. We may have seen Christ in person. We may have experienced God. We may have irrefutable evidence of Him. But whilst we have our part of Him, that doesn't necessarily mean that we'll follow His rules. Sometimes He comes into our lives at the time we need to convert, and sometimes we ignore Him. Just because Saul converted and became St. Paul doesn't mean that everyone would do the same in that situation. No. So let's just remember that. We're not guaranteed heaven. And even those people that I love, that I consider my best friends, and have very kind hearts, due to their actions in life, I honestly don't know if they'll go to heaven or hell. That I leave up to God. It may sound like a coward's way out, but really, I just don't know. I can give my own rough judgment, but I'm not the judge. I'm not in the jury. I'm a person in the gallery. And when you're in the gallery, you're not part of the court. You're not the person who's able to give the verdict. You're merely a witness to it.